Okay, guys, this is the weekly outlook video for this week, November 7th to 11th, 2022. Okay, as usual, we are going to start from the DXY. Um, this is DXY weekly time frame. On the weekly time frame, the significant level we have in here is the weekly fair value gap. Okay, on the downside, the weekly fair value gap is the draw on liquidity. Okay, and on the upside, the draw on liquidity on the weekly time frame is this relative equal high right there. Okay, now last week I mentioned that, let me go to the daily time frame. Last week price was trading around here. I mentioned that I wanted to see price fill the daily fair value gap and reject from there to take out this low and fill this fair value gap. We got the rise, filled the daily fair value gap, it rejected from there during FOMC. Was it FOMC or non-farm payroll? I think it was FOMC. Yeah, during FOMC, and then there was no follow through. Okay, completely reversed and went for the level I outlined 2 weeks ago on the weekly outlook. Okay, and we got a rejection from there. Now, what I don't know, what I'm not sure of is if price wants to draw to these relative equal highs or to this relative equal lows and the daily fair value gap. Okay, this is the daily fair value gap right here. We also have a weekly fair value gap down below. Okay, but the weekly fair value gap I outlined, I showed you on the this is the weekly fair value gap, this is the daily fair value gap. We have these relative equal highs. What I'm not sure of now, obviously this is going to become an order block. Okay, this is going to become a daily order block, which has already been validated when price went above this level. Okay, now obviously we should get some bounce from this daily order block. I would expect that we should get some bounce from here if price should trade below, especially for some kind of trade tap. Now, do we get a bounce that would go all the way up to take out these relative equal highs, or would it just be a short-term bounce and then return back down to fill this fair value gap? I don't know, to be honest. I'm not quite sure. And this is one of those times when I take a critical look at market. I'll tell you exactly what I'm expecting and um how I'm going to plan this week based on the current market, based on the current price action. Okay, but on the daily, this is a significant level to watch. The fair value gap is relative equal highs. These are the drawn liquidity on the upside and to the downside. Okay, so when we go to the lower time frame, let's go to 4-hour time frame. On the 4-hour time frame, um, obviously we have this market maker sell profile that is close to completion when it takes out this high. This is the initial consolidation, this is the pause, run to support, this is smart money reversal, low risk buy. When you go to the low time frame, you see that this is a low risk buy, and then we have accumulation. I mean, we have reaccumulation, and then we should have distribution below this low, right? So, what I'm not sure of is if we would get, maybe something like this. I'm gonna get something like this and then bounce from here to take out these relative equal highs, or would it just be a short-term bounce to take out this fair value gap and the relative equal highs, relative equal lows on the daily time frame. Okay, to be honest, I'm really not quite sure. I'm not quite sure. I just have to wait to see how the market delivers. Okay, by the end of today's price action, I should have a pretty clear idea of what price is likely going to do. So I would update on the Telegram chat. Okay, by the way, if this is your first time seeing this video, you can join my Telegram chat where I drop my daily analysis um, on the pairs that I trade: EU, GU, USD CAD, EG, and US 500 ES. Okay, so um, like I said, right now the price action is not very clear, but ultimately I know that this is the draw on liquidity to the downside. If we are bearish, this would be the draw on liquidity, this fair value gap right here, and we may get a bounce from there. Okay, we get a bounce from there. Um, but I'm leaning a bit more to the bullish side. Okay, I'm leaning more to the bullish side. The reason is because from my experience, when price comes close to a level of interest and fails to take it, moves away from it, came close the second time, moves away from it, it simply means it is reserving it for later. Okay, so we will probably most likely get something like this, a drop into this. Where is my arrow? Okay, so probably get something like this, a drop to this level for some kind of 3 tap setup, and then something like this to attack this high. And then perhaps we'll then get a rejection from there before we would eventually now come for this relative equal lows and the daily fair value gap. And it can just drop down, feel it, bounce from there, and then reverse. But I'm leaning more to the bullish side. The reason I'm leaning more to the bullish side than the bearish side is because there haven't been a lot of accumulation. I mean distribution rather. There hadn't been a lot of distribution. You see from here that of course there was accumulation here. There was accumulation here, accumulation below these lows. Now they haven't offloaded their longs. Okay, so smart money went long here when price. This is there's a lot of liquidity resting here. Okay, because of this aggressive move, those chasing the move, the hedge funds, that stop loss would be here. Okay, and when we had this drop down, they took out the stop loss. So that means smart money accumulated here. Now, where would they distribute? Maybe here, here, and here. Okay, well, price has taken out this short-term high, this short-term high. Obviously, there's a lot of liquidity resting here as well because of this down move. Okay, those that chase it, their stop loss will be here. Okay, it has taken the stop loss, but the more significant stop loss will be resting on these relative equal highs. Okay, so do we get a move to take out this relative equal high before dropping down to take out this level? I don't know. Honestly, I don't know, but we'll see. I'll wait to see how Monday's price action develops, and then we'll see how it goes from there. Okay, but I'm leaning more to this than to this. Okay, I think that this is a daily order block. When you go to the daily time frame, this is a daily order block, and I believe that this is also a weekly low. Okay, and there is a lot of liquidity resting below this level. When we had this impulsive move, those that chase the move, their stop loss will be resting below this low. Okay, so we have a daily order block, we have a weekly low. Price takes out the weekly low. Depending on the reaction we get here, the price action here, then we'll know what's up. Okay, now if price continue upward before dropping down, then we know that it is likely going to drop down to take out this low and this relative equal lows, fill the daily fair value gap as well. Okay, but I'm leaning more to this than a drop down to this. So I'm leaning more to a bullish week than to a bearish week. Okay, so let's go to euro. Okay, let me go to the 1 hour time frame if there is anything significant. Yes, if we go to the 1 hour time frame, we would see that there was a gap up. Okay, generally gap up is bullish. Okay, when price opens with a gap up, it's an indication of strength in the marketplace. Okay, like we see here last week, there was a gap up, and then we see the bullish price move that followed it. Okay, likewise here, there was a, oh, this is a gap down. I think this is a gap down. No, no, this is not a weekly time frame. This, yeah, here, this is a gap down. Okay, and once the gap is filled, retracement, and then you see the bearish price action that followed it. So generally, when there is a gap up, it is an indication of strength. When there is a gap down, it is an indication of weakness. Okay, and if we look at it as well, last week, DXY, they increased the interest rate for DXY last week. And generally, we know that an increase in interest rates is good for DXY and bad for foreign currencies. So I think that this week we should see some bullish price action, to reflect that change, that interest rate hike. So I'm leaning more to the bullish side this week. Okay. Obviously, this is a significant level. We might get a drop down to fill it, but I'm leaning more to this. Okay, until price tells me otherwise. And once I have a clearer read on the markets, I'll drop it on the Telegram chat. Okay, so on let's go to euro. Start from the weekly time frame. If there's any significant level on the weekly time frame. DXY and EU. And is there anything else here that I want? Okay, I want to also call your attention to this 1 hour order block. Okay, so this, I believe that this 1 hour order block should hold price, push it down, and then bounce from somewhere around this level to take out to take out the levels I outlined on the daily time frame, the relative equal highs. Okay, so that's pretty much what I'm anticipating. Okay, so this is euro. This is a weekly time frame. The significant levels to pay attention to on the weekly time frame would be this level. Well, price has bounced from it already from the weekly order block. Price has bounced from it. So I'm leaning more to the bearish side for this week. Yeah, I'm leaning more to the bearish side because we have this indecisive candle. So I think we'll probably shoot up, reprice to this level, and then drop down. Okay, this is what I will be anticipating because we also have CPI release for this week, and I don't think the CPI release will come out bullish for foreign currencies. Okay, I think that the CPI will come out bullish for DXY, and I'm very much the bearish side. Okay, the price action is not very decisive right now, but I'm leaning more to the bearish side. Okay, so let's go to the daily time frame. Okay, on the daily time frame, yeah, okay, we have a potential daily fair value gap. Now, this is going to be interesting. Okay, this is also an order block. Now, the price, do we continue high to take out this high and potentially this high to fill this void? You know, we have a relative equal highs right here. So that's a significant level. This is a draw on liquidity. Okay, this is a draw on liquidity. But now, if we go to the daily time frame, we know that smart money, they work with the daily, the weekly, they work with the higher time frame chart. Now, has there been any level of accumulation on the daily? No, not really. Okay, because the daily, no short-term low was not taken here, short-term low, no, short-term low, no. So there hadn't been any liquidity run on the daily time frame other than this one. Okay, so here price, so that means they went short here. Now, if they went short there, where would they take off their short? It has to be below these relative equal lows, these lows right here. And that did not happen. That did not happen. So my thought is that this push to the upside is like a trap to make people chase it so that they can put their stop loss below this low and then ultimately they come back down to. So I don't see price taking out this low without first taking out this low. Just wouldn't make sense to me. Okay, if they went short above the monthly high, don't forget this is a monthly high as well. Okay, and I mean, let's just say weekly high since it's happened with the same one. And this is also a weekly high. Okay, so two weekly highs, they went short right there. They should take off their shorts below this low, and price fell short of it. We got a bounce. So ultimately, I think that somewhere at this level, we should get a rejection to come back down to claim this level. That is my anticipation for the week. It's not so vivid, so clear right now, but that is what I'll be anticipating for the week. Okay, let's go to the 4-hour time frame. But pay attention to this potential daily fair value gap. Okay, okay, let's go to the 4-hour time frame. So here is the 4-hour time frame. Um, Now, if we look at a study of the market structure, okay, one of the ways when I'm not so sure of what price is likely going to do, and what I look at is the market structure, the institutional market structure, beyond the higher lows and all of that. I look at, okay, where do we have short-term highs, where do we have intermediate-term highs and long-term highs? Okay, so if we look at this level right here is an intermediate term high. Why? Because this is a short-term high, this is a short-term high. When you have two short-term high to the left and right of the high, that high is an intermediate term high. Okay, this is also the high that rebalanced the weekly fair value gap. When you go to the weekly fair value gap, you will see that this is the high that rebalanced. Okay, so this is an intermediate term high. Now, intermediate term highs are significant. Okay, long-term highs are also extremely significant, right? So if this is an intermediate term high and we have short-term highs to this level and price broke an intermediate term high, this high should become a long-term high. Okay, so because we would now have potentially, now what will validate this high as a long-term high is if we form an intermediate term high at this level. Okay, so if price moves up and we form some kind of high during the week, and then price begins to reject to form another short-term high on the 4-hour time frame, that will validate this as a long-term high. Okay, so we'll have to watch to see how price develops in the week. Okay, and then I will update on the Telegram chat, but what I'm anticipating is a tap into this 4-hour fair value gap and rejection from there. Okay, this will become some kind of three tap. If price should return to this level, that will be a three tap setup relative to this high. Okay, relative to this high, taking liquidity, this is deviation, this should become a protected high. Okay, because it took liquidity here, it took liquidity here, so, and they haven't offloaded their longs yet. Okay, the significant price levels here is this low and this low. Okay, and so my anticipation for the week would be a return to this level, a return to level, and then rejection from there. Once we reject from there and we form a short-term high to the left, I mean to the right of the high that forms here, that validates this level as a long-term high. So we therefore know that this is what we will likely get. And then a run of this relative equal lows and potentially this level. So this is my anticipation for the week. But like I said, the price action is not quite clear yet. Okay, by the end of today's price action, I should have a pretty good idea of what is likely going to happen. But if we go to the 1-hour time frame or 15-minute time frame, we'll see that there is also a market maker sell profile ongoing. Okay, let me show you on the 1-hour time frame. Okay, so here we have the initial consolidation. I'm going to make a video on the market maker profile. Okay, for those of you that do not understand what the concept. Okay, so here we have the initial consolidation, we have the pause, okay, which is a run to resistance. Okay, so if this is a run to resistance, the next level we'll be looking for is smart money reversal. So I am anticipating that smart money reversal would happen here. Okay, somewhere at this level. And then we have low risk sell and accumulation, reaccumulation, and then ultimately distribution below this low. Okay, that's accumulation, sorry, distribution, redistribution, and then accumulation below this low and the other lows. Okay, so this is what I'm anticipating first and foremost for the week. Okay, but like I said, there is no guarantee that this is going to happen. Okay, but this is my first instinct. This is what I'm anticipating. I still need more confirmation to confirm this. Okay, I still need some kind of confirmation here for this, but looks likely that this is what will play out. And if this does not play out, we can just get a run to the upside to take out these relative equal highs. But I don't think I'm not leaning towards this yet. Okay, I'm not leaning towards this. I'm leaning more to the downside for this week. And one of the reasons why I'm doing that is also because if we check the COT reports, we check the latest COT reports for this week, we would see that, let me see if I can, let me pull up my, okay, so if we check the COT reports for last week, we would see that there is heavy short on, euro. Okay, we can see here that they have been increasing their short position. Now let me just do a quick explanation of this chart. If you are not familiar with it, negative numbers are used to represent short position, while positive numbers are used to represent long positions. Now, one of the ways I determine my bias for the week is I look at what has happened in the previous. Now, each of these data represent the data for the last 2 weeks, okay, and this is for the commercial large hedgers. The commercial hedgers are the banks, those are the smart money, okay. So when the only downside to this data is that it is late. It is a late data. It is a lagging data in that this, for example, this data is last week Tuesday. Okay, they release the data every Friday. Okay, but they don't include Wednesday to Friday's data. Okay, so they only is the latest data, the latest position that they have on as of Tuesday. Okay, so this here we see that they are heavily short on BTC. Okay, this is like the highest. Now this is red because it shows that that is the highest amount of shorts they have on in the last 1 year. Okay, so we might see a strong downside on BTC soon. Okay, now let's look at British pound. On British pound, we see that they have been gradually decreasing their long. Okay, here they removed over 10,000 contracts from their long position, and here they removed roughly about 1,000 contracts, okay, which is not really that significant. But if we look at euro, where is euro? This is where is euro? Okay, this is euro. We see that last week they added about 20,000 contracts to their shorts. Okay, and again they added over 30,000, over 40,000, about 40,000 contracts to their short position as well for this week. Okay, so this is very significant. Okay, of course, like I said, this is a lagging data. This data is based on Tuesday's result. Like as at Tuesday, the number of short positions they have, and obviously we know that from Tuesday last week there was a lot of drop down, so that might have already played out. Okay, but I'm still leaning because they haven't taken profit. Okay, if you go to daily time frame, like I showed you on euro, they haven't taken profits on the daily. Price has not, there haven't been any run on stop. Okay, there haven't been any run on sell side liquidity on the daily time frame. So I don't think that price will continue higher without them first at least taking this heavy short position off. Okay, so let me go back to trading view. So this is why I think that we have a sell profile going on. Okay, this has the initial consolidation. This is the run to resistance or pause, and then I'll be anticipating a smart money reversal at this level. Okay, I'll be anticipating a smart money reversal at this level to take out this loop. That would be my anticipation for the week. Okay, but I may be wrong. Okay, because this move here is is, and then there is an SMT divergence here as well. Obviously, on between EU and GU, there will likely also be some kind of SMT divergence at this level. So we'll wait to see how that plays out. I have to wait and see. But this is my first. This is what I'll be anticipating first and foremost. And then until price tells me otherwise, okay, the confluence is more to the downside. Okay, one, we have this gap, we have a gap down, which is an indication of um, weakness. Generally, when there is a gap down like this, it shows that smart money have heavy short positions on, and the algorithm is in a hurry to want to deliver to the downside. Okay, so we might see a run of these highs, this high. Obviously, this is a significant high because this is a weekly high. All right, this is a weekly high, these are daily highs, and this is a session high. So if price should move all the way to this, if we go to the 12-hour time frame, you would also see this, that there is a 12-hour, let me show you. There is a 12-hour fair value gap, right? Okay, so we have this 12-hour fair value gap. Okay, refined to 4-hour. We go to the 4-hour time frame, we refine it. 4-hour is right here. So my anticipation is that, and this is at premium. Okay, this is at a heavy premium. This is heavy premium. So, and also from this high to this low, this is optimal trade entry. So, you know, there's a lot of confluence suggesting that we'll have a drop down at this level. Okay, we have this 12-hour fair value gap, we have this four-hour fair value gap. This is optimal trade entry, and you know, we should get a drop down. Really, I think we should get a drop down. Now, if price drops down to this level before moving to this high, if it drops first to this level, okay, this is a balanced price range. This is an old daily fair value gap. Okay, it didn't hold price. Okay, obviously it is in discount, and that makes sense as to why it didn't hold price. But we've had this bullish price action. Okay, this is an extremely bullish price action. This is why I'm second guessing that this might not play out. Okay, because of this extremely bullish price action that happened in here. This is displacement, and when you have displacements to the upside like this, it is a strong indication of strength. Okay, but let's see, this is what I'll be anticipating. Okay, we have more confluence supporting the downside than to the upside. Okay, because we have the liquidity is to the downside. We already ran buy side. Okay, we haven't have a run on sell side liquidity yet. Okay, so I'm seeing this more as a retracement. Okay, and then we have a downside to come and check out this look. This is what I'm anticipating, right? If when that is invalidated, I'm going to update on the group chat. Okay, so I expect that this high should be eventually become a long-term high, as I explained here. Okay, once you have a high and then we have a breakdown, we have another high. Okay, this will become a long-term high because this is an intermediate term high. Why? Because we have a short-term high here and we have another short-term high here. We have a high, we have a high. Okay, and this would become another intermediate term high. And when you have a high in between two intermediate term high, that becomes a long-term high. All right, I hope that makes sense. So that is EU. Let's go to GU. On the weekly, um, Do you have any significant level of interest? Okay, on the weekly time frame, um, of course, we have a gap down, which is an indication of what? Which is an indication of weakness. Okay, we have this weekly fair value gap, this fair value gap as well. Now, obviously, this becomes weekly order block, right? Although it hasn't traded below this low, but at least it has traded below this level here. So we can assume that this will become a weekly order block. Although it is always better to wait for when price trades below, the low of this upclose candles. But we can also assume that this is a bearish weekly order block. Okay, so on the weekly, the significant level to pay attention to is this level, this fair value gap on the weekly. But I think that we'll get a downside move first before we then come for this level. Okay, if we go to the daily time frame, on the daily, obviously this is going to become an order block, these two up close candles, because price has traded below this level. So this should become an up close candle. This should become a bearish order block, and the middle is right here. If we refine it to this level, the midline will be somewhere at this level. Okay, we have relative equal highs here as well. This is a breaker. I'm still leaning more to the downside. Okay, I'm still leaning more to the downside. We have equal highs here, but there haven't been accumulation. There haven't been a run on buy side. Sell side rather. We've seen a run on buy side. We should see a run on sell side. Okay, let me go to the 4-hour time frame. Now, this is an intermediate term high because I have a short-term high to the left and right of it, and this is also an intermediate term high, and price has broken structure to the downside, to the upside. We get a continuation to the upside to take out these highs. Honestly, I'm not quite sure. Okay, this price action is not. I'm not quite sure. I don't know, to be honest. But we also have these relative values at this level. I have the short-term low. I have the short-term low. We've seen a run on buy side. This should become a long-term high eventually. Okay, so perhaps we get a run on this equal high. Would it go up that far? I don't know. I'm not quite sure, honestly, guys. I would have to update at the end of the day. I'll post my updates on the Telegram chat. Okay, do we get a drop down at this level to take out this relative equal lows and this short term low? Or do we get a continuation to the upside to take out these relative equal highs and this fair value gap? I think I'm leaning more to the downside. Okay, maybe somewhere around this level can reject from here, or we take out this relative equal highs and then reject from there to take out this level. Okay, so I'm leaning more to this. Maybe we take out these relative equal highs, perhaps this high. Okay, this is a trend line. I think this makes a lot of sense to me. Continuation to the upside to this fair value gap before drop down. But when you look at it, it's quite confusing, guys. It's really quite confusing. I don't have any bias. Okay, for EU is still a little bit clearer relative to GU, but I don't want to have a bias yet. I'm just going to wait to see how today's PA develops. But the significant level here is this relative equal highs. This is too clean. Okay, and this weekly fair value gap, we have this trend line liquidity as well. I do think that price should take out the liquidity. Okay, so I'll just have to wait to see how things develop at the end of Monday's price action. I think we should have a clearer perspective on what price is likely going to do at the end of the day. Okay, I think that's that. For I'm still watching EG. Where is EG? I'm still watching EG for a smart money reversal somewhere at this level. We have initial consolidation, we have the cost here. So I'm anticipating smart money reversal at this level to take out this low. We also have a weekly fair value gap here that will serve as a draw on liquidity. So I'm going to keep a watch on this pair. Okay, I think that it is eventually going to drop to this level. Um, for ES, the significant level I'm watching for ES is this relative equal highs. Okay, and this daily fair value gap. Ultimately, I still think that we will likely run to this level. Okay, and it might just be a breakaway gap, but you just never know. But I mean, this relative equal highs looks too clean. I think that we'll get a push to the upside to take out the relative equal highs and then we'll drop from there. Okay, so that's that for this week. The price action is not really clear right now, but by at the end of the day, the end of today, tomorrow morning, I should have a better perspective on what price is likely going to do for the week, and I will update on the Telegram chat. Okay, if you have any question, feel free to drop it in the comment section, or you can also drop it on the Telegram chat as well. Okay, I'll see you in the next video.